Emo Phillips.
Hello, and welcome to Non-Greg Stories. Greg Stories Show. Except only the substitutes. I'm your host, the Pamazon. Woohoo! We got some other people here as well.
Oh,
hey,
I
other
love
people.
That dissolve.
Oh, hi.
You look so thrilled.
Yeah, I don't know. I just learned some incredibly sad news. I'm sorry.
What is it?
My Little Pony Friendship is Magic has been canceled. I'm very depressed over this fact.
It's surprising, consider I've never seen you even watch it.
Hi! I'm here too.
Don't tell Slade.
That's why he's depressed. He's not depressed because he watches it. He's depressed because...
Slade watches it, yes.
Don't tell him.
John, I don't know what to do. Hold me.
It's like, he was very upset. He was very sad and very angry.
So what you got there?
Oh, I wanted to discuss one of my favorite books. I thought it might be fun if I do a book of the week whenever I remember. This is a wonderful book called...
I think you should just call it the whatever you remember book.
Book of the week.
Yes, called If I Remember, You're Gonna Hear About Something You're Never Gonna Read. This is called Habibi, and it's a wonderful book about this the life of these two people, Dadola and Zam. It's all about how from them being kids, when she's really little, to when she's older, like a teenager, she finds this little slave boy, and she basically steals him away, and it becomes her son. And then it's just their life into like her like 40s, and he's like in his 20s. But it's a very sad story, but it's one of my favorite comics of all time. It's basically eventually he starts
Don't give away spoilers.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no spoilers. Nobody
Yeah.
will read it if you give away spoilers.
Oh, well, okay. Well, anyway, it
You
has a
tell
lot to
everybody
do
the
with
entire plot.
Yeah.
You're
anyway.
supposed to give a little bit, not
Well,
an
the-
entire synopsis.
The art's fantastic. I don't know if you can see how amazing this looks, but I think it's a wonderful book. And I can't.
As I bend the pages against this microphone.
Yeah, I guess I can't say too much else without ruining it, but
Don't ruin it.
I do recommend it. But it's very depressing, and it's very, I don't know. I feel like Zam's kind of insane. Like I want to say something, but I can't because
Don't say it. Don't do it.
That reminds me of this animation that I saw on Netflix a long time ago about an old rabbi and his daughter on a pilgrimage with a talking cat.
Well,
Huh?
It was very strange.
What
Never saw
country
that
was
one.
this made in?
I think it was made in France, but it took place in the Middle East.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was just looking up.
And there was an obnoxious English guy who thought he was like really hot and stuff, and he got killed by tribespeople.
oh.
Damn it, British guy, English guy. Yeah.
Do you have any favorite authors, May?
I don't want to sound super basic.
You don't want to sound what?
Super basic.
Oh, super
no,
basic.
I like
be
Terry
basic.
Pratchett and Christopher Moore and Neil Gaiman and a bunch of others, and of course Douglas Adams.
I'm a big
yes, Douglas
Kurt
Adams.
Vonnegut person.
Kurt
I am
Vonnegut. I like
currently
Kurt
reading the
Vonnegut.
Vonnegut
Yeah, I haven't read any
as well.
Vonnegut since high school though. So
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Have you read? What have you read? Probably the one about them time traveling and stuff, right?
I read Cat's Cradle.
Cat's Cradle, yeah.
and Slaughterhouse-Five.
Yeah, yeah. Those are the two most well-known ones.
Oh, and Andrew Primate Das. I've only read their short works, but it's a science fiction writer from India. It's very good sci-fi.
Hmm.
Yeah. It's
Have you read any Murakami?
no.
It's like a surrealistic sci-fi.
Oh, cool.
Fatalistic surrealistic sci-fi.
Oh,
Not the
and
most cheery
William
genre.
Gibson too. Like, Neuromancer and what's that other one? Diru, I think. And maybe a couple others. And a bunch of others.
Yeah.
Tons. Yeah. A lot of times I like books and I don't actually pay attention to who wrote it. I'm like, this was great.
That was great. I forgot the other, but it was great.
Yeah. It's wonderful.
Yes.
I had this
Division
great
Red.
Ray Bradbury Martian Chronicles book that was like really nicely illustrated. And it was awesome. And then somebody fucking stole it. And I was like, I'll just go on eBay and buy another. And they were like, it was like worth a lot of money.
Oh,
Yeah, that's
no.
what happened. That's what happened.
I was like, oh, I won't buy that again.
I had this
Oh,
late
no.
70s portable TV that I used in a sculpture project, and somebody that stole the TV and I'm like, well, I guess I gotta go on eBay and get another one so I can recreate the sculpture. And like the cheapest one was like, does not work, covered in rust, $150. And I'm like, And then the working ones were like, in box, 1,000. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Jeez. Well, I got all y'all beat. I got the biography of Flipper,
You did it. It's signed
by
the
the
author.
and it's fantastic. I haven't read it, but it's got a smiling dolphin on the cover, and it's called Behind the Dolphin Smile.
But didn't your mom say one of the dolphins?
Yeah, it actually sounds very depressing. It's about like how the dolphin committed suicide.
Oh, man.
It's really depressing.
That's so depressing.
But
It's a bummer.
yeah, it is a little bit. Just a bit.
Gotta bring my upstairs banjo back up here, man.
Kimberly.
Right up,
Kimberly,
right
yes.
up there with the tiny ancient dog from Spin City in the 90s. It would lick the outlets.
I've never seen it.
There's
Never
this
seen
guy
Spin
who had this
City.
really old dog, and it would like lick the outlets. It was like 25. It was like.
Oh, I just wanted to bring this up before I forget it. Last night, when I woke up this morning, I was in the middle of having the craziest dream that Pamela and I lived in the Shire, and Napoleon came over to visit us because he didn't believe that people there were as short as him. And we were trying to convince him, and Pam's like, yeah, I'm telling you, they're really small here. And he's like, nah, you're just fucking with me.
Oh, interesting.
And I'm like, nah, I swear to God, they're these really tiny little hairy people. And he's like, really? And you're like, yeah.
Napoleon, as in the self-absorbed,
Yeah.
self-appointed emperor.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But he was like, he came over to visit like we knew him. And it was very weird. And he didn't have an accent. He sounded like an American. But he was dressed in full, like,
Napoleonic gear, his little hat.
Yeah, you guys should come over to my place. We'll play cards with Mussolini.
But we lived in the Shire. Pam and I lived in the Shire, and, like, we knew Sam and Frodo and Gandalf.
Oh, what's the Shire? I'm sorry, I don't.
The Shire is where the hobbits
Oh
live.
my God!
in Lord of the
Don't
Rings.
you know your
don't know
Don't
any
you
of
know
it,
your
no.
lore?
I don't know it. I'm
LOTR.
sorry, I don't.
Gosh,
Oh,
it's
God.
where the hobbits live.
Oh, God.
Jeez.
We
I'm
lived in a little
sorry.
hobbit hole, and Napoleon somehow sought us out because he didn't think the hobbits were the same size as him.
But why were we living with the hobbits if we were so big?
If I remember in the dream, I just wanted to live amongst tiny hairy people like myself. And you didn't want to. But I talked you into it because you didn't think it was that big of a deal.
Okay, all right. Interested.
But I don't know how Napoleon came into the picture. But I just remember we lived in the Shire, and Napoleon came over and was talking to us. He's like, nah, they're not that small. I'm like, yeah, I swear to God.
And Napoleon wasn't actually that small. It was just a difference
Yeah.
in measurement.
Yeah, I've heard
inches
that.
between French inches and English inches. And then they
Yes.
used it for propaganda.
They did. That
Yep.
was on the ubiquitous Adam Ruins Everything, I believe.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
Yes. I love that
There's
show.
a great one about how bacon became popularized in the 80s because they couldn't sell it. So they're like, we'll put it on everything.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'd like to see that one. That'd
Yeah.
be interesting.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's a
Yeah.
real short one.
They only have one season on Netflix. What the heck?
That's so frustrating.
What the heck?
Frustrating.
We'd
Netflix,
watch
get
them
your shit
before we go to
together.
bed, but now we're watching Buffy, and there's only 2 more left.
I
John.
know.
There's only 2 more left.
I'm
2 more
so very
Buffy.
excited.
You're
and
gonna
we're-
have to start reading the comics. The drawings
We
of the
have
comics are.
my
I know, it doesn't look-
sister-in-law, who is delightful, gave me all of them in a bound thing, so I can read them all for Christmas.
I'm sorry, but the drawings in the Buffy comics look like somebody was like, "Hey, Frank, can you draw?" He's like, "Yeah, sure. We'll just get the actress to pose, and then I'll like draw lines around her, and we'll put it in the book."
That's
way."
That's exactly what it looks
Yeah.
like to me. That kind of art style annoys me, but I'm still be glad to read it.
Yeah.
But
Because Buffy's amazing.
yeah, I'm still hungry for more Buffy, but I don't care.
I
I
like
got
the
excited
original.
really to watch Angel.
I like the movie from the.
The movie? The
Yeah.
movie, he didn't really have... Whedon didn't have a lot of input on the
No,
movie.
but I did like the
Oh,
movie.
you did like
Yeah.
it.
Is it canon with the show?
No.
No, but it came before the series. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
I
and
do
then
think that he was very much. If you ever saw the original Bionic Woman, she was Jamie Summers, and she looks a lot like Sarah Michelle Gellar. I realize, and she had superpowers, and I think he took some Buffy Summers, Jamie Summers.
It's always
both were
weird.
in California.
Probably.
Some people, they have only one name, and you can only say like Cher, and some people have three like that. Like you can't just say, oh, that's Sarah. Oh, that's Sarah Gellar. No, it's Sarah Michelle Gellar. You can't just say, oh, that's Freddie. No, it's Freddie Prinze Jr. You can't.
They're a 3-name family.
Yeah, it's weird. Well, it's like, why? Well, certain people you can only say one name, and certain people have like three. I don't know. It's very annoying. Just pick a name.
They're greedy having all those
I know.
names.
It's like, come on. It gets on my nerves. Shut up, Sarah. Shut up, Freddie.
You're easily angered.
I
This is a very bizarre rant.
Yeah.
It's making me feel personally targeted because both my old name and new name are 3-part.
know. Yeah, but I
When
think of you
they-
as May.
Yeah, I know.
Well, yeah, everybody's but I
Yeah.
mean, yeah. I mean, everybody. Well, not everybody, but I have a middle name.
Yeah, I know.
I
but
have two, but
I like the way
have
my
two middle
name
names?
sounds and all stretched out.
Wait,
into
you have
the
two
whole
middle
thing.
names?
I do. You didn't
Wait.
know that?
No, you only told me about Elliot.
No, it's John Elliot Joseph Blake.
No, you didn't tell me about the Joseph.
John Elliot Joseph Blake. His name is my name too. Whenever a kid comes out, all the people shout, John Elliot Joseph something Blake.
Yeah, fresh.
Jingle Heinrich Schmidt.
No, I didn't know there was a Joseph thrown in there. I didn't know that.
Oh.
Is that some Catholic thing?
It is.
Okay, yeah, I don't know.
Which is
anything about
why
Catholic
Tolkien
things.
has two middle names as well.
Ah, okay. No, I don't have two. I only have.
And also why
Mine
George
one.
R. R. Martin has two middle names.
I always figured George R.R. Martin had two middle names to just like there's just the R.R. so it sounded more like Tolkien.
I thought that
Yeah.
too, but it is also just because the Catholic thing, he has two middle names.
Huh, interesting. Apparently people who grow up surrounded by lots of crazy fiction write lots of crazy fiction.
Right. Yeah. Yes, that's true. The original sci-fi.
Yeah.
The original sci-fi.
Yes, because when Ezekiel saw the wheel, it was incredibly.
Oh, the Ancient Aliens stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Rocknuts loves that. I've not watched any of it, but he loves it. He loves Ancient Aliens. Never seen it. Has anybody seen it?
Oh yeah,
I've
watched
seen
the
it, yeah.
entire thing itself.
Oh, you've
I've
watched the
seen
entire
it.
thing. Okay. Haven't seen any of it.
I've seen bits and pieces.
It's very.
He gave me a
Whether it's
tape,
at
but I
cable.
didn't want. I didn't. I was like, I'll watch it, and then I just, didn't have time.
I think statistically it's unlikely we're the only intelligent things in the universe, but I also don't think they've probably visited here. But if they have, that would make me feel a lot better because then we're not alone with ourselves in the universe because humans are kind of crappy.
There's a reason for our maladaptation. This is not our homeworld. Our homeworld's made of plastic.
and the entire thing is baby proofed.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Oh gosh, I was just seeing like. Never mind. I was seeing like little babies crawling everywhere. Yeah. Yeah.
No, I don't want
in
to
the
go
plastic
Planet Baby.
baby-proof world.
If I was on
Then
Planet
they
Baby.
start a war with the planet Leo's from.
The
The
Which
Leo
one's
planet.
stupider? I don't know.
The Leo planet would win though, because the babies just would not like the smell of the Leo planet. They'd invade and
sharp
start crying.
claws, chubby soft babies.
Yeah,
It's
they
a
just sit down and
no-brainer.
go. "Ah!" As soon as they
No-brainer.
sat on like a
Ah.
Muppet, a Tuffet or whatever on the Leo planet that like oozed Leo foot juice.
God. Liam foot juice.
Anyway.
Anyways,
Oh, we went on a tangent, John. You're not the only one that can go on a tangent, you know.
yeah. And it all takes place in Dudley's space pouch.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Okay.
Oh, it's a heart. Oh, aliens.
Hmm.
Oh, I love
It
that
is.
guy.
His hair's like this tall.
His
and
only
it's
degree
like-
is to be a gym coach. I forget what it was.
Who was that? I don't even know.
I forget
He's
his
a
name.
crazy expert on Ancient Aliens who's like aliens about everything, and his hair is like gelled up to like this high. It's like.
But I've noticed that like there's that one on the Travel Channel, that guy that goes and supposedly goes to haunted houses, and he's got this crazy gelled up hair too. Is that a thing? Is it like? Are these really secretly antennas?
I don't know. Maybe
there's no gel
maybe
there
it's
at all.
The more out there you are, the more higher your hair has to be.
Maybe I don't know.
The more like trying to mimic Einstein hair you think you should have because you've got Dunning-Kruger and you think you know.
Oh yeah, that Travel Channel guy is so bad. He's like, being possessed by the ghost.
Yeah, that's the classic pose. And then underneath it says, like, there's a meme of it, and usually underneath it says, aliens.
That's one of my favorite memes. I love that guy. Some crazy Greek guy.
I didn't know his only thing was that he was a gym coach.
Oh yeah, that's his only.
Yeah, there it is. That's the one.
Aliens.
Aliens. Aliens, yo. Aliens.
I never realized how squinty his eyes are.
Yeah, he's very strange looking.
He looks like he.
Maybe he's the alien.
He's been partaking of the hashish a bit heavily.
I used to like to listen to Coast because it used to be fun and crazy people would call in and.
You should listen to.
No, it's not as fun. Cause
No, not Coast to Coast. You should listen to.
Dark Matter?
No. This podcast we listen to called Astonishing Legends. It's kind of like Coast to Coast.
Oh, okay.
There's no crazy people calling in, but it's kind of like they go over like all sorts of weird cryptids and stuff. And
oh, okay.
They get like really deep in rabbit holes with it.
This guy called in and was talking about the aliens he met, and then I think it was George Norrie was like, well, why weren't you afraid? He's like, afraid? They were so cutesy poo with their big heads. Why would I be afraid? I just said that. I was saying it to everybody. You're so cutesy poo with your big head. There you go. See, cutesy poo with your big head. And then someone called up and said they go to Dinosaur one night. and George,
I caught a dinosaur once.
Oh yeah, chicken rare.
No, I just had my parakeet go.
Oh, your parakeet. Yeah. And George Norris like, can you like tell us where you are? And he's like, no, you'll come and take my dinosaur. He was really obviously
Is it
pretty
by
wasted.
chance a modern dinosaur?
Yeah, right.
Did you catch a turkey?
Yeah. Or a lizard.
Nah, they're just reptiles. Separate branch.
Are you resting your chin there?
Oh, sorry, I was just thinking.
What were you thinking about, John?
Oh, nothing important. I was just thinking about
Something you're embarrassed to say out loud.
No.
Oh, okay.
No, it's just no one cares about my thoughts about Tiny Tim in space. You know.
Well, do you think Tiny Tim was an alien?
No, Tiny Tim claimed he wanted to be the first person to be married in space, and he tried to get it, but he couldn't get the funding. So he did it at Spooky Land.
Humans.
Which was the second time he got married on The Tonight Show, when he got married to Miss Jan in the early 90s.
You know, he could have just gotten married inside one of the UFO rides that spins around.
I love those.
Yeah, they just keep it going fast enough that you could stand at an angle on those little benches and then...
I got one of those with my nephew, and he was like all psyched, and then it started going really fast. He's like, no, and then the floor dropped out, and he totally lost it. I was like, just don't puke. Don't fucking puke.
I was on one once, and I used to like sit up on them and like scoot around the little pads and stuff. And I think I've stood up in them before just to see.
Yeah.
But I wasn't doing that at that point. I was just sitting up, and some kid over here like stands up and trips and like falls up.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And then they stop the ride, and he falls down.
Yeah, there were kids who got loose and were like crawling around the walls above people and stuff. No, they kept going because it was indoors. So if you fell, you just
the ones that I always find slightly scarier is the ones that aren't the UFOs, but they're the ones that they're benches instead of like leaning against them, and they're like tilted out. Mm-hmm. They're just like they're the usually painted blue and white. Like I don't know if you've been to Seabreeze, but they're like open.
I have, yeah.
They're open to the air, and and it's got a floor under it and a spinning ring, and then the whole thing lifts up like 90 degrees.
I've been on ones like that. Yes, yeah.
I saw somebody throw up on one once.
Well,
They were like apparently. Well, from where I could see, they were kind of roughly at the top of the arch, so it sort of went. And some of it went up, and the rest of it went down on everybody else.
Oh no! I was riding that thing, the big pirate thing at the Erie County Fair, and we should have known. Like just before we got on, someone puked. Like, wait, we're just gonna clean it up. You can get on, and we were like, we're getting on the other side, and so people got on, and as it's going, this kid is like on the other side. We're like, oh God, no, because if he's at the top, it's gonna hit us right in the face. Fortunately, when it swung up, he vomited all over himself, and not us. Thank goodness.
One of the last times I was at Darien Lake riding rides, they have that one that like it's a series of seats, and that swings like a swing, and then there's a big arm that goes around like this, and it swings within that, and it's very fun. And I was sitting there, I was riding, and there was these, I don't know if they're like Japanese tourists or what, but there are these sitting along, and they had little badges on. I don't know if they were like, they had little like tags, like the little, like they were like on a group trip or something. And the one girl's there was like, and then she just threw up down the front of herself, and it was just swinging loosely like this. It wasn't like really going yet, and she was a couple down from me. It was just like, and the guy sitting next to her is just like,
it's not what you
and
can
says
do.
something in Japanese, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure he's like, please don't throw up on me, is what he said.
Yeah, there's not much you can do on those.
Yeah.
I don't know if I know I've told you this. I don't know if I said this in the show. The most terrifying ride I ever got on is at the Hemlock Fair. I took my little nephews on the Ferris wheel. We go to get on. We jump on. As we sit down, the thing takes off. And I'm like, where's the straps to strap these little bastards down? Because they're like 2 and 4. And there's no fucking straps. There's nothing to tie these little kids down. And they decide that it's a real boring ride, and they try and they're trying to open the door. So then I have to grab them both and pull them to one side because it's a bucket thing. And then the bucket is like, and we're like this the whole time while I'm holding these kids screaming who are trying to crawl out of the Ferris wheel.
That's terrifying!
It was so terrifying.
When you got to the bottom, you're like, I gotta get my heart back out of my throat.
Pretty much, yeah. And they were mad at me. They're like, that was so boring, Aunt Pam. Why wouldn't you let us out?
I was recently looking up the history of the Ferris wheel. It came from a medieval thing similarly called the pleasure wheel.
The pleasure wheel?
It looks like Ferris wheel, but crappier.
Okay, because I was imagining like the rack, but covered in dildos.
Well, I think it's more of a modern day pleasure wheel.
I was imagining some poor little person in the middle of like being whipped, like keep moving the pleasure wheel.
Well, you
'Cause
know,
it's the Middle Ages.
I don't know if you've
Life
ever
wasn't
been
very
to
happy.
a particularly large Renaissance festival. Oh,
Oh, that's a pleasure wheel.
That doesn't look very pleasurable.
it doesn't. It looks like a torture device.
It does, yeah.
It's just kind of like a really crappy Ferris wheel. That does not look fun. It looks scary, and like you burn it and sacrifice it.
Sacrifice the people in it. This is fun!
Yeah.
Wicker Man.
Did you ever go to Roseland Park when it was a?
Maybe? I
I
don't
don't know.
But, what was it? What was I gonna say? Oh, if you've ever been to a reasonably sized Ren Fest, sometimes
I've
they
never
have
been.
they have rides that are like rides you would go to at a carnival, but they're all mechanical and human powered.
Oh, okay.
And there was one that was like, it was like the twisty swing teacup thing, but it just had like thick ropes, and they just had to slowly wind it up and then let it go. And
Oh, wow. Oh,
the
okay.
guy's like, ugh. It was like 95 degrees out, and this like sweaty guy's pushing
God.
around in a circle while it's full of people.
When I was in Minsk in Belarus, there was in Gorsky Park there were rides, and me and the drummer were like, let's get on them. And the person we were with, who was from Belarus, are like, it's not like in America; those rides aren't inspected. And we're like, let's go anyways. And then in retrospect, that was probably not the wisest.
No, probably not.
There was no one else on them either.
Yeah, because they knew.
Because they knew.
They're like, that would be fun if they were inspected.
If they
but
were
they're
inspected
not.
and
This is the
safe.
kind of thing that people in Belarus probably walk by and go, I wish, but no.
Yeah, but no thanks. Yeah.
I'm just going to go hope my Yugo doesn't explode instead.
That's the car I've always wanted is a Yugo.
There was someone around here who had one forever. Forever. It would be parked on Richmond all the time.
Both Beth's parents had Yugos. When
Oh,
they met.
wow.
Yeah.
And were they good cars or no?
I don't know.
Yeah.
No, wait, sorry. Wait,
heard
which
they
were
were
the
very
ones? Not
bad.
Yugos. They had Pintos. Sorry,
Oh,
I got confused.
Pintos.
They had more explodey ones.
Exploding. I saw
Which
a
makes me think
gremlin.
in a bunch of
a
alternate
bright
universes,
pink
there's no
yes,
Beths.
a bright pink gremlin that was in front of the Kenmore
Those
Lane.
are so cool
It
cars.
looked so cool. It was like Pepto-Bismol pink and had racing stripes on
Oh,
it. It was
that's
amazing.
so cool. That's amazing.
It was. I was like, oh my god, let me
Did it
get in
have
that car.
Did it have purple fuzzy dice hanging from the...
I was so busy admiring the outside, I didn't even think to check.
I feel like it needs it with those colors.
Yeah,
you
I
just
think so,
described,
too.
Yeah. Or purple hubcaps.
No, definitely no purple hubcaps. That I would
Or
remember.
anodized purple aluminum rims.
Just had silver.
Oh, Gremlins,
yeah,
yes.
It's
I
beautiful.
love the Gremlin. It's such a beautiful car.
It is beautiful.
I only want the Mach 5.
It's like the granddaddy of all hatchbacks.
That's a hatchback.
Yeah.
You want the what? The Mach
I
5?
just want the Mach 5.
What's a Mach 5?
It's the car from
You don't know the Shire, you don't know the Mach 5.
Speed
Sorry.
Racer.
Oh, okay.
The greatest car of all time.
Sorry.
Way to body Mahago, number 5 Super Battle. Yeah, there you go.
I think
that's a
that
car.
I don't. That might
It
not.
looks like somebody was like,
that might not be
you know
real.
what, we should have a
Well,
fancy car that
someone
looks
can
like the
make it.
Batmobile, but doesn't cause copyright issues.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I would just settle for someone painting like a tractor white with a 5 on it. That's close enough.
I just love my.
I'm going so fast. I'm definitely going Mach 5. No, that speedometer's in miles an hour, and it only goes up to 5.
I love Sparky. Sparky's great. Sparky's a great car, and also my Goldie, the 2005 Saturn SW2 station wagon was amazing too. You remember Goldie, right?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, Goldie was stick
I
shift.
remember the first time I ever rode in one of your cars, and it was that, and you're like, it's a little messy in here, and I went to get in, and the floor was just like covered with stuff. It was like,
That might
there's no
happen.
seat.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
I'm a little messy. It's a bit embarrassing.
I'm better now.
Well, it's still not as
I'm
bad
not
as when
really-
Andy found an entire pumpkin
mean-
in my car, and I didn't know it was there.
That's bad.
Entire pumpkin.
Yeah, I didn't know. He was helping me clean my car, and he's like, what is this? And he pulls out a pumpkin.
Was it like?
Yeah, it was gross. I remember
no.
we froze it, and then I wanted to see what would happen if we froze it, and I threw it against the side of the school, and it just shattered.
Yeah, that's what happens usually when you throw frozen
Yeah,
things.
right. Yeah, they shatter.
Yeah.
Like that guy's hand in Johnny Mnemonic. Anyways,
I've not found a pumpkin in my car ever. Yeah, no. Nope.
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 We do have a pumpkin in our apartment that's over a year old and perfectly intact. It's not shriveled.
Oh,
or
that's
rotten
weird.
Or
It must have
anything.
been
It's very weird.
radiated or something. You know how they radiate things to
No
keep it from?
idea, but it's perfectly solid.
There's,
I think it might be petrified.
Oh, well, that could be too.
there's these really gross, totally rotten pumpkins on this little Arab corner store left over from Halloween over on the east side, and I took pictures of them, and they're really disgusting. And I thought it was just beautiful because they're still really just gross and just rotting. It's like, Halloween's over, guys.
Well,
I think
Phew.
next Halloween people should find friends who are really good at realistic carvings. They should carve busts of individual one, and then jack-o'-lantern it, and then let it slowly rot on their porch.
yeah, that's, yes.
Yeah.
And I was saying, people who don't, aren't from here won't understand, like, Why can't Halloween be all the time? It could, right?
Yeah.
I would hope you would figure out that once it's rotted into a pile of mush, it's not supposed to be sitting there, guys. It's in front of your store with the crack guard guy. It's like, I don't know.
I mean, I don't mind if you have jack-o'-lanterns up all year, but maybe replace them once.